When was the last time you struck up a conversation with someone you didn't know? I mean, Alex does it all the time, but he's weird. But, I mean, you do. You talk
I
to
do.
people
My
all
kids
the
actually
time.
make fun of me for it.
Well, I mean, you talk to anybody.
I feel like they made fun of me yesterday for it. I'm like, it's being nice.
I know, but some people like waiting for you to say, "Hey, little boy, do you want some candy?" I mean, you just can't talk to everybody.
Actually, we were at the Water Valley's Watermelon Festival. It's their biggest festival of the year this weekend.
And you're just talking to people.
Well, we were walking back to our car, and this guy's without his shirt on on his porch. And of course, I'm walking by him, but the kids are like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Water Valley has that pharmacy with the great milkshakes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did you go get one?
no, but we've done it before.
I've heard they're like,
Yeah.
what's the name of it? Do you know? Do you
You're
remember?
putting me on Turnage drugstore.
Yeah.
Actually, what's really beautiful about it, so the New York Times, for our national audience, they actually wrote a beautiful article about the town of Water Valley
Yeah, I knew
and people
that.
reviving it. But like the, what do you call it? But like the wood for the drugstore, like,
The
where they
countertop?
actually, where they actually serve like the soda fountain and like the big piece of wood countertop was around from like 1900. Like some really beautiful.
I cannot believe I haven't gone down there and gotten a milk. I've heard about the milkshakes at the pharmacy down there. I'm going to get it. So anyway, we haven't gotten 2 lines into our shop talk. So
Welcome to the
let's
shop.
go. So when was the last time you struck up a conversation with someone you didn't know, like Alex does and his kids will get weirded out? Not really because you had to, not because you were asking for direction, but just because they happen to be standing next to you. For a growing number of Americans, that question is becoming surprisingly difficult. A new survey from the Center on American Life found that 53% of Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 say talking to people they don't know is exhausting and uncomfortable. I get the uncomfortable part, but exhausting?
Yeah. If you're an introvert.
53% of the United States are introverts that find talking to someone they don't know exhausting.
Well, Bill, we're about to go in the reason why.
You know what I find exhausting is sitting here texting and emailing. It's so much easier just to have a conversation.
Well, we're about to go into why on the
These
next
young
part of
people are
Shop
weird.
Talk.
That's why, but no, it's probably not the real reason. So among Americans over 65, the number is just 24%. I'm not over 65, but I am definitely one that doesn't find it exhausting, but sometimes uncomfortable.
You sure do look like it.
Nice. At first glance, it may be tempting to chalk up to this generational difference. Maybe younger people are just more introverted. But Daniel Cox, who led the research, argues that's not what's going on. He writes, trend isn't just about personality. It's about how we've redesigned modern life. Think about how many interactions we've quietly removed from our everyday routines. We order dinner without speaking to anybody on the phone. We check ourselves out at the grocery store. We work from home. Many stream churches instead of gathering in person. We shop online instead of walking through stores. We spend hours socializing through algorithms instead of on sidewalks. We've optimized convenience, but in the process, we've accidentally outsourced something much more valuable, the everyday practice of being human together. Cox observes, the institutions that once made interacting with strangers feel normal, schools, workplaces, civic organizations, neighborhoods, places of worship, stores, and everything else that you would socialize at, have weakened. Without those shared spaces and social norms, every new interaction can feel almost risky and more emotionally taxing. That line stuck with me. Talking to strangers didn't become harder because people changed. It became harder because we just stopped practicing. Here's the irony. Researchers have repeatedly found that people consistently underestimate how enjoyable conversations with strangers can be. Just ask Alex. He apparently enjoys them all the time. We expect them to be awkward. We imagine we'll bother someone. We assume they want to be left alone. Then we actually have the conversation. And what we find out afterwards, both people usually walk away happier than they expected. That's because human beings weren't designed to live as isolated consumers moving from one private space to another. We were designed for community, not just friendships, community. There's a difference. Friendships are chosen, communities are discovered. A community is the cashier who knows your name. And honestly, when you walk in a place that you've frequented with your dollars and someone says, instead of "How may I help you?" they say, "Hey, Bill, good to see you." It does. It feels better. It feels more human. It brightens your day. It's the neighbor walking her dog every morning that says hi. It's the older gentleman you always wave to while getting the mail. It's the family you see every Saturday at the farmer's market. They're not necessarily your friends, but over time, they become familiar faces, and familiarity becomes trust. Trust becomes belonging. Belonging becomes the kind of community that helps people flourish. Seth Kaplan, who's been on the podcast and is the author of the book Fragile Neighborhoods, made an observation that I'll never forget. He wrote, "We've optimized convenience, but we've unintentionally outsourced every human connection." That's dead nuts, spot on. The things that make neighborhoods strong aren't usually dramatic. They're ordinary, wonderfully ordinary. A conversation while mowing the lawn. I'll never forget in Lisa and I, when we bought our first 4-bedroom house, a guy who remains a very dear friend of mine today, Matt Cunningham.
You talked about him on a recent Shop Talk.
I'd never met him before. He walked up the sidewalk. I was literally cutting grass, 4 rugrats running around, cutting grass. He walks up and he says, "You look hot." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you drink water or beer?" I said, "Both." He said, "What would you prefer?" I said, "Beer." He pulled a beer out of one pocket, a bottle of water out of the other, handed me the beer and twisted the cap off the water. And we sat there and we were strangers and we are now best buddies. But that's the point, is neighbors just walking up and talking to each other. Kids riding bikes together, boy, that's something you don't see in the neighborhoods as much as you used to. Borrowing a ladder, returning the ladder with a plate of cookies to your neighbor. None of these moments change the world, but together they create something we've been losing. They create neighborhoods where strangers slowly become neighbors. The hood, neighborhood, neighbors. And neighbors slowly become the kind of people who show up when life gets hard. Maybe that's why I love one of Seth Kaplan's final observations about this research so much. He said, "Strong neighborhoods aren't built because everyone is a friend. They're built because repeated interactions and a common sense of belonging make everyone feel part of a single team." That's it. That's kind of exactly right. The goal isn't to become best friends with everyone on your street. Obviously, not everyone wants to be Alex's best friend. It's to know a ton of people, to know them well enough to smile and wave and say, "Hey, how you doing?" and celebrate their wins and care when they're hurting and bring a casserole over if it's needed, not because they're hungry, but just because you're saying, "I care." That's enough to make a neighborhood feel like a home. And maybe that's the invitation for all of us this week, is we're not going to solve loneliness and we're not going to fix America by being neighborly. It's just a practice saying hello again. Talk to a stranger. Talk to the cashier instead of staring at your phone. Introduce yourself to the neighbor you've waved at for 3 years and tell them your name. Invite another family over for dinner, God forbid. Start a walking group. Host a block party. Join a local service project or club. One of our 6 local service clubs would be a great place to start, or explore starting one. Because every thriving community starts the exact same way, with one ordinary person deciding that the stranger standing next to them isn't really a stranger anymore. You never know what kind of community might begin with a 5-second conversation. The lost art of talking to a stranger is more than the art of talking to a stranger. It's the lost art of becoming a community. What do you think?
What hits me most is the little interactions that really make life meaningful. even just yesterday, we belong to this trampoline park in Oxford.
Of course you do.
You get unlimited
A
visits to
bunch
the
of strangers
trampoline.
jumping. How nice. Yeah.
But I probably saw 2 or 3 people I know, and you just have these short interactions with them, and it just feels really good.
It does.
It's not my best friend. We probably will never be, but it just feels really good to be in this community where you know a ton of people. It really does enrich your life.
When you think about the old show Cheers, right? And the song, Where You Go, Where Everybody Knows Your Name. I mean, it really, I don't want to be the old fuddy-duddy nostalgic guy, but I really did used to know all my neighbors' names. And I used to know my neighbors' kids' names because they were riding bikes up down. And if my kids skinned their knee in front of our house or needed something, they would run right up to the door and knock and say, Mr. Courtney, I need this or that. And it would be my honor and pleasure to interact. And I just think we're losing that because you're right. We order our food online. We pay for our stuff at a computer and don't even engage with the cashier. We do so much stuff that does add convenience, but completely destroys our ability to interact. And when the data says that the act of talking to a stranger is what was the word they used? It was
exhausting.
Exhausting.
The majority of Americans.
That's
53%. Yeah.
It should not be exhausting. It should be enlightening and fun and interesting. And so I think it's incumbent upon an army of normal folks to talk to a stranger, have conversations, and make an effort to just be sociable, because that is what ultimately builds a neighborhood and builds community.
And I think we're largely making the point too, it's just we're out of practice. We just need to practice it more. And I'm not perfect at it, but I'll probably 2 or 3 times a year, just like I have a neighborhood happy hour at my house. And it's just, develop these good relationships where my neighbor actually does message me, hey, do you have any sugar?
Good.
One, their fire alarm kept going off the other day and her husband was out of town, so she came over and asked for help. But that's not happening in a lot of America, but they literally don't know their neighbors and can't make those asks of each other.
Needs to happen. So the lost art of talking to strangers, don't be exhausted, be engaged, build a community. All right, everybody, that's Shop Talk number 116. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with friends on social, rate and review us, join the army at normalfolks.us. What else, Alex?
.org now, the new website.
What?
.org now, the new website.
The new website, yeah. Oh, go buy merch. We don't make any money on it.
Try to start a service club, take the 10-level challenge.
Take the 10-level challenge.
All the things.
All the things that will help us grow an army of normal folks. I'm Bill Courtney. This is Shop Talk number 116. We'll see you next week.